Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you got a good spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun. Good morning, everybody. It is the 11th of June. Markets are in free fall after the FOMC meeting yesterday, and the retail traders have not even woken up yet. Let's go to the charts and see what's going on here. We need to get rid of that and that. Where is it? Volume profile. Okay. Yes. So, it was quite a mess. We had, after the FOMC meeting, a pretty wild push up. I actually did pretty good on this, but then on the close, it started going down. So kind of, I would never normally trade the close, but on our live account, but I was messing with it. Screwed up bad. Man, just look at it. It's just going. So there's like severe risk off sentiment coming in here. Treasuries actually aren't up all that much. What about some other proxies? Gold? Gold a little bit, but not huge. Oil's tanking, though. Let's see here. Oh, that's not what I wanted. I want this one. Yeah. 5 o'clock. Yep. So I think that part of it is oil. Well, we've got some big pieces of news coming in, too. We got the PPI coming and initial jobless claims. They are just not even holding back. This is... Woo! Now, I haven't even switched. We got to switch over. Let's see. Database management. Roll over. So if oil is rolling over, are we going to get like some crazy business again? People trying to trade the front month? So they were putting up 80s, 60s, and 80s here. I think I have to restart. I think I have to restart Jigsaw here. That was a good wash there, man. Looking for long after the news. I hate going on short. Don't roll over. The contract still has... who cares? Let's look. MES. Why is it still showing 620? Oh, 920. There we go. Well, the front month does still have more volume. I don't know if it really matters in ES. Mm-hmm. There is more volume. That's interesting. That is a little odd. Usually there's more volume on the front month at this point, right? Maybe this will change after the news. Because in my policy has been that when NinjaTrader gives you the prompt, or you can go into the database and it wants to roll it over, that's when I do it. And usually at that point, you're usually late. I'm pretty certain more volume is the day after. It could be. I don't think it really matters in this case. Well, I guess it does matter for the MES over here if there's like nobody offering at some of these prices. Good grief. Turn on the text to speech.
Kevin Wimmer says Sierra did the same to me and Amini was so much thinner lol.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is. It's usually not like this though. I've never had NinjaTrader do the prompt. I mean, we could go back and watch past videos, but I don't think I've ever gotten to the point where NinjaTrader is giving me the prompt, and the back month is so thin that there are prices missing. I don't think I've seen that. I do have to say, I feel like that lately the E-mini has been a little sparse anyways. There is, what's going on here is that the retail traders aren't switching over. You guys need to y'all just need to switch over. Y'all need to switch. You gotta come and join me, guys. It's fun over here. Look, this is fun shit. Look at that.
Kevin Wimmer says, and also like in CL we had the next contract having more volume than the current one, and this was 2 to 3 weeks before rollover lol. Was a new one to me.
That was just a bizarre mess. That was just a very, very bizarre mess. You could see more bizarre stuff today. Honestly, the amount that it moved in the overnight session is unjustified to me. The amount that the S&P 500 index moved. Just when you look at what volatility was pricing in, what news was driving us yesterday, and like the overall thing, the amount that they moved is way beyond expectation. Way beyond anything that you could predict. Okay, 15 seconds here. Still going to be on the experiment account. Okay. So the PPI was spot 3 versus a spot 4. Jobless claims about in line with expectations. 1,542 versus 1,550. PPI year over year, negative spot 8 versus an estimated negative 1 spot 2. Continuing jobless claims almost 21. Okay. I think I need to be a little more conservative here. 200. VIX S&P and the 200-day moving average. Why not? Says the market here. We tilted too long optionality logic last week. As frequent readers of the market year know, you do not chase protection when you must. You buy it while you can and when people hate it. Below chart shows the move higher in one of our under the VIX hood metrics, the VIX 2-8 futures spread. It clearly shows the bid for short-term protection has been present over the past month and is, once again, well bid. VIX has mean reverting features to it and can't trend over long time periods, but do know that the last time the spread was here, SPUS traded some 200 handles lower. If that was to happen now, it would only take it down to the 200-day moving average approximately. Yesterday was the best day Momo had its best day in forever. Probably because everyone trading MES is new since COVID and doesn't realize there's a rollover. It could be. Let's see what Futures Trader 71 says. I say roll over. It's time to roll over, guys. I say it's right. This is working out really well. Look at that big old honking order up at 139 even. You need to come over to look at some volume profile stuff in the 10-year. Okay. 27's cool. 31.5 is cool. 04.5. If only I had it. If only I had Rhythmic still. Well, I should always do that. Anytime that I try to go for more than 8, there's problems. So I'll stick that one out there just in case. But I have a feeling, ooh, man, E-mini is just getting creamed here, guys. George Floyd's brother says he believes Derek Chauvin's motivation was "quote-unquote" personal. Of course he does.
Kevin Wimmer says, did I miss some news on oil, by the way, or was it just some technical play going for the weekly low? Went for lunch and it just mega dropped.
It's a very good question because I woke up this morning and when I read what was it? All the metrics and everything. Like my morning rundowns, I didn't see as much talk about oil as I had seen in the past. There was a lot of discussion about OPEC and all of these sorts of things, and today it was just like, well, we're not sure if everybody's really going to hold to the OPEC, the cutbacks that they're supposed to be doing, and we'll see what happens. It was kind of like that. So the oil is definitely down right now, moving lower, and it appears that a lot of the movement in the E-mini is in sympathy. Well, with all that said, the treasuries are moving around at 29 and 28.5 fairly easily. So I'm not entirely sure what to make of that. White House and GOP push coronavirus relief talks to late July, sources say. Okay, well, that could do it. Should be keeping a closer eye on the 5-year, I think. It's maybe 5 and 30 over here. 30 has a big offer on it. 5 is not really taking the 19 and a quarter. They're just going back and forth at 19. 10 years seems to be just like happy to go along with whatever they're doing. Because they're not like iceberging or doing anything really interesting. The E-mini is just not stopping, guys. Where do we start to get to? We're going to have to start calculating stuff. 3186. $31.86 times 0.95, right? It's a 5% move overnight. 3,026. Oh, that's further than we probably need to worry about, huh? See, look, the 5 years actually, or sorry, the 10 years actually suggesting that they're going to take 29, but the 5 years actually down a tick. Right, 19 has been going back and forth and is balanced. Oh, we've been in this area many times before. Let's go and reset all of our levels here. Oh, we're back to the super balance area in the 10-year. Remember when we had these big icebergs here way like a week or two ago? So now 1,000 at those levels. 19 not holding. E-mini pulling back a little bit. Now the 10-year down ticks. Well, let's see if we get a fill here. Cool. Let's see here. Mohammed El Arain tweeting, jobless claims data are out. Both new and continuing claims fell to 1.5 million and 20.9 million, respectively. Less good is that continuing claims came in above consensus expectations, barely. The focus now shifts to high-frequency indicator of the hiring side of the labor market. He's retweeting himself after Friday's surprise beat on the jobs report. Some are inclined to dismiss the information content of the weekly U.S. jobs claims numbers due out in 90 minutes. That would be short-sighted, in my opinion. The data still provides timely insights on an important part of the labor market. Okay, Mr. El Arain, but it was 1542K versus an estimate of 1550K. Damn it, they moved back up. I'm okay with it. I don't like the way that it's moving here. This is like some indication of balance. I could have gotten 29. That's fine. Oh, I did not know that Joe Biden wrote a op-ed about I don't support defunding the police. Neil Kashkari, WWWQ, and UI. Oh, what the hell? He's drunk on QE is what Forex Life says. That's funny. Is that the name of a new Fed program? This is Neil Kashkari. I should follow him. All of the squawks are making the jokes, man. It's funny.
Gary Rich says, Seth, I just posted some charts in Discord lobby.
Okay. Who sniffed this out first? You pointed that out. Very, very good. Very good. Were you pointing that out before Monday, though? Okay. But I now see it is pretty much a mean reversion there in the Japanese yen, right? Is there like some fundamental driver of that? Oh, now the 2 and 10 year spread, that's another good one. Now I'm not, let me go and look here on my chart. Because I didn't, oh, I guess I do. Mine's just so much further out. But it's flattening again in the 2 and 10. Which is really weird, but when I look at, well, it's flattening in the 30 year too. It's a little different over in the 10 and 30 and the 5 and 10. Oh, I thought I added 10. Oh, that's right, I did, and it was like the same, so it probably didn't get saved. It probably got lost because I had to rebuild my workspace.
Gary Rich says, I pay attention to the 3-month 10 years also.
Got you. Okay, and then the dollar index. So you're having a much shorter time frame dollar index than I do. Let me show you my dollar index. Because on my dollar index, the craziness of it is like way more. You see in the upper left? Oh, let's make it big. When you look at my dollar index, it's the zaniness of it is like much more clear. They all wanted to sell the dollar, but now they seem to be scared, and it's quite violent over there. Largely because of the 60. But blah. European stocks got pummeled today.
Gary Rich says, yes, I like to look at the 5H in DXY.
I think in particular I was reading. Let's come back here and read this. Here's the news squawk morning rundown. We come into equities here. Where was it? Okay. The detailed breakdown paints a similar anti-cyclical picture, with travel and leisure taking a hit on the prospect of a second wave. In terms of individual movers, Lufthansa was down 6.5%, pared back a bulk of opening losses after plunging 12% at the open, after stating they had a surplus of 26,000 employees and said job cuts would be significantly more than the 10K figure previously estimated. And then PSA 6.3 Fiat Chrysler, but that one, Lufthansa, was the one that stood out to me the most. That these guys that were up big, that are really in areas where I just feel very strongly that they're not good investments. Like the airlines and the what do we call these? Cruise lines. I saw many people on my Facebook feed getting into cruise lines going, oh, well, they're down. I'm like, yeah, and they might come back because it's probably oversold right now, but then in over 10 years, they're not going to. Who wants to go on a cruise right now? Raise of hands. Who next year wants to go on a cruise? I don't. Something else is going to happen, and then you're going to be. It's yeah.
Uzi
Not I
Knesset
said the
says,
white
not
guy.
I said the white guy.
Oh, Uzi. You got me. You got me. It's true. I don't want to. I was thinking, hey, a cruise would be great. You know, I still kind of want to go to China. I still kind of want to go, but maybe I'll just go to Taiwan.
Sunday Driver says if you have the antibodies, then why not?
Then why not? You know what?
Gary
They have
Rich
an
says the
alpaca
airline,
cafe in
cruise,
Taiwan.
etc. were just a very short trade, very short hold.
Yeah, exactly.
Uzi Knesset says screw the plague ships lol.
It was a trade. It was a trade, and I have all of these people. But here's the thing: these retail investors that are coming in here, they don't know the difference between a trade and an investment. They don't realize that, hey, you're not going to hold this for 10 years, and by you might not really make your money. You might not get a good exit. Down 12%, 16%, was it? That's a lot. So the bubble, that was some bubble popping signs. You know what I mean? But I don't know. Like I still maintain that, hey, if we go short, I mean, look at the way that it's moving, that the E-mini is moving today. Like, that's really crazy. If we really turn into another downturn, these 5%, 7% moves are completely possible still. Completely possible still. So the retail traders are going to jump on those. And some are going to lose money, but there's going to be some that are just going to build a bigger war chest. I think that if we really want to pop the retail bubble, we need to go sideways, because newer traders have a terrible time with sideways action, right? It's gonna go down and up, and this could be the sort of thing that could do it. Like if we just go sideways between 3,200 and 3,000. Oh man, that could freak out tons of people, where they're selling at the bottom and buying at the top and stuff like that, right? I think that's the sort of thing that could really screw up retail traders. So I'm kind of on the lookout for that.
Gary Rich says when I saw TSLA hit almost 1K, it was a time to get cautious.
Yeah.
The Euro Lon MKT didn't like the Fed and job claims.
They certainly didn't. Well, here's the thing that's interesting about the Fed. So when it happened, I initially said, hey, like, buy all the things, and it did, and I caught a good trade off of it. And then he did his talk, and after his talk, it kind of faded down. Now, part of that might have just been positioning, but I also think that the longer term people are kind of watching that and saying this same thing that we've been saying
Samuel
from Jeffrey.
Says can't rely
right?
on antibodies. This stuff keeps mutating all the time.
If everything is hunky-dory and we're going to have a V-shaped recovery, why is that degree of assistance required? Because did you hear what the Fed said in his last question? I think was the most important. They said, hey, it looks like you're pumping up
Uzi
equity
Knesset
markets.
Says ZB kissed upside value target at 77.21, slightly smiling face.
By the way, you notice that there's this huge iceberg holding the 5-year down and the 10 years up 2 ticks. So we're getting some spread there right now. Anyways, they asked him, what about equity valuations? It's a little high, and it looks like you're pumping up the markets. And his response was basically,
says, boom, there's the push, damn.
We are going to do what is necessary to keep the capital flowing in the banking sector, and we don't really care what it does to the equity markets. That was basically his response. So what does that mean? That means that just to keep the banking sector flowing, money moving, and not having a freeze up in credit markets, we have to put this much money in, and this is the impact that it has on equities. That's crazy. That is crazy. And we're still looking at that Congress needs to do more stimulus. Obviously, things are not so good. Obviously, equities have gotten ahead of themselves, and whether or not the markets decide to acknowledge that and move down is an open question. But this morning, they have been. Yeah, look at the way it's spreading, guys. The 30-year is now up 6 ticks, and the 5-year has not budged from that 19.
Bot says ES rollover spread roughly 11 points.
we might need to do something like this. Because if that 5-year busts, the whole curve might do some funky stuff. Is the ES rollover really 11 points? Well, I just moved over to September.
Bot says no, not really. I just made it up.
Oh, okay. Let's look at his chart. It is a big gap. What's going on here in the 5-year though is look at that. $12K iceberg at 19, and they're not busting through it.
Gary Rich says if these reinfection rate headlines get bigger, the 2 years may test 0.15% and 10 years 0.35%, worst case scenario.
Trump's job approval plunges 10 points in a month, says Gallup. Look, and they ticked it down through a 6K iceberg on the other side. There is something massive happening here in the 5-year. Like one of the biggest volume moves I have literally ever seen.
Sunday Driver says I don't believe in the reinfection story. Relapse is common with viruses, and I'm sure this one is no different.
So remember that there's the whole thing about people, they had it and then they get it again, and they did a bunch of investigation into that, and they determined that those reinfections were false positives. Korea did a bunch of work on this, and they determined that they were false positives. Anything about reinfections, I would ignore, unless it's like they really post something significant. But I think that this is more about that there's going to be a second wave. Most states did not build up enough immunity from the first wave. Most states closed so early, right? And so we're likely to see another wave. We're seeing it in Utah right now. We'll see how bad it gets. We'll see if Utah responds.
Gary Rich says, did you notice VIX ticked up at the end of the session?
I didn't. I did catch that. I do recall seeing that because, well, I mean, the E-mini was just getting creamed at the end of the session. It was really quite odd to me, I thought, the way that it just turned. It was like, oh, dovish everything, buy all the things, and then all of a sudden they couldn't hold anything. Another thing was that, like, the up volume, down volume, and all that was really bad all day yesterday.
Chopstick7Life says, hey there. What are your thoughts on the current rug pull happening in futures? Do you think markets are going to plunge during open? Job report beat expectations, but market's still dying.
Yeah, so when...
Sunday Driver says you are correct. They assumed everyone was at the same infection rate as NY. Not true. We're now going to see how the rest of the country fares.
Yeah. Well, nobody has enough immunity to really be safe from another wave. Chopsticks, usually when the futures make a really big move overnight, there's going to be a bit of mean reversion type behavior in the futures. So we'll see what happens here in 30 minutes when they open up. But I would be surprised to see like a huge sell on the open. Normally we'll come in here and if you see like 1,000 contracts, cumulative delta difference in the E-mini right off of the opening tick, then that's like, okay, they're setting up for a trend day or like something's going up. I don't think it's going to be like that. I think that they're going to probably be like most days, battle around a little bit. Maybe the first move is down, but there's going to be at least an attempt to move up. And we'll see how far they get. There's a chance. Actually, I think there's a relatively good
Bot
chance.
Says Vixen ADD at EOD yesterday.
That on the open that they make a really big push and retrace a significant portion of this. It kind of depends on what they're going to do, but...
Gary Rich says the open may range and at the euro close they whip it up.
Yep. It's good. Good. That's way further than I can normally see. So let me think about that.
Sunday Driver says I don't see how this market doesn't die. One way or another. You can't have this kind of sustained upward movement with so much shit hitting the fan.
Yeah.
Sunday Driver says eventually. It must die.
Well, like I said, I think we could see sideways. I'm much more concerned about sideways. Sideways is the thing that will really screw people over. It goes sideways for a while, and then after that, they kind of all give up, and then it goes down. That 5-year is still holding in 19. They are not letting it get above 19.
7 Life says thanks, that was a really helpful answer. I've been trying to make sense of the market for the last week, but unfortunately I have no clue about anything anymore.
Yeah, right. Well, here's the thing, Job 6. I mean, there's behavior, there's technical behavior, but the thing that I would pay attention to is the fundamentals, right? So the question right now is why is it down? Because we had the Fed meeting yesterday, all of that seemed good, and then in the Asian session they're down big. That doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. But usually when we get a situation like that, I say you always got to wait for the regular session, for the US session, because they're the ones that this say really matters the most. So that's why I'm saying, there's a pretty reasonable chance that we retrace this. Anytime there's a big overnight move, they try and retrace it. Anytime that there's a gap, they try and fill the gap. Okay. So that 5-year is not given up. So this trade is not working the way that it was supposed to. So we're just gonna try and get out here. I didn't think that they were going to be breaking 30 until that 5-year was through. So it's still holding it down. Somebody's selling a ton there though, man. That is a lot that is traded there. But you just got to remember, short-term price movements can be random, right? The retail trading industry lies to us. They say, okay, if you combine enough technical analysis indicators and all of these sorts of things, then you can accurately predict which way it's going to go over the next 5 minutes. And it's total bullshit. Like if you catch a good edge, on that sort of a thing, you're talking about maybe a 5% probabilistic edge, or like a profit factor of maybe 1.5. Maybe. And usually if you're getting a profit factor, those better ones, 1.5 and beyond, it's usually because you're going long. It's usually because you're going long, right? You've just found something that works when you go long. And when the short comes, you're going to get creamed. And let's see here, Gary. Ooh, I like this. This is good shit. already see. Background: the yield curve, which measures the spread between yields on short and long-term maturity bonds, is used to predict recessions. We use past values of the slope of the yield curve and GDP growth to provide predictions of future GDP growth and the probability that the economy will fall into recession over the next year. Probability of a recession in 1 year: percent, 19, 20, 20.6. This was May, April, and March. Okay. So in 2019, they were starting to say, okay, now they're going down. Predicted GDP growth 1.87, though. That's where they're getting those numbers. That's in line with what the FOMC projections were yesterday.
Gary
Look, the
Rich says
5-year's
it's
still
predicting
getting-
roughly a 2.1% GDP.
The 5-year is now down to 18. So this is another thing to watch, because that could be a signal that somebody's planning on buying up the E-mini. And they are turning long here now. In fact, we need to pull something up here. Okay. So if I were to try and play this, I'd need to pull back.
Chopstick7Life says have a buddy right now holding a lot of Boeing calls expiring next week.
Oh boy.
Rest in peace.
That the quad witching, that, man, I tell you what, next Friday is going to be a madhouse probably. Because you got, like, normally when you got a lot of options expiring, you'll get pinned, right? But there's so much volatility right now that you're probably not going to get that. You're probably going to have a lot of fighting, and they're going to really finagle over where it's going to end. Okay. This is it right here. I'm still, I just know I'm still on my
Chopstick7Life says I think a lot of the new traders are in for a rude awakening after they find out what IV Crush is.
Right.
Sunday Driver says I'm a curmudgeon. I've been trading gold stocks and have done well this past couple years.
I mean, I'm not really an options guy. I've learned a lot about options. I feel like I know more about options than I should, considering that I literally never trade them. But, you know, I don't
Sunday
understand all
Driver
those
says
things.
I just have a lot of bad vibes about this market.
Yeah. Okay.
Bot says if memory serves, the
just gonna let
rollover
it stop.
technically takes place at the RTH Open, so one would expect there to be an increase in the 0920 buying as the RTH session gets underway.
Sure. I think you're right. John, is it just me, or is it like particularly light this time? Normally more people have moved over. It seems to me that the pace of the roll is slower this time. The treasuries moved over pretty quickly. Like in the treasuries, by the time I looked at it, it already happened. In the E-mini, it looks like I'm one of the first guys.
Gary Rich says we haven't had a 3% sell-off in a while. Going forward, the economic data around the world will really matter. We are hoping China will reflate this bubble.
Oh yeah. Well, China is doing a lot of bank easing too, right? That's one of the things in that I'm starting to realize in the overnight session, is I'm always like, why is it that they move so much in the overnight session and when it seems like it's so difficult in the US session? It's because the Chinese are giving them all this money. And they're just dumping it in to push us up. Because when you look at the amount of like repos and stuff like that the Chinese are doing every night, it's a lot. Okay.
Bots says I'm still waiting for the treasuries to close their rollover gaps.
Oh, yeah. Wait, where is the gap in the 10-year? My chart doesn't show one.
Air Cages says, should I dump my crypto and go all in stocks?
Oh, Air
Bots
Cages.
says ZB is flirting
You
with the
kill
low
me,
side of
man.
it gap.
Okay, ZB is flirting with the low side of it. But what do you make of this 5-year though? Like, look at the spread here. Like, let's reset it. Okay, 10-year is still kind of just looks like it's getting pulled around.
Gary Rich says, if I had the energy, I would trade gold and silver during the Asian session. I see moves.
The ZB wants to
Bots
go
says
back up there.
179, 10 to 177, 20.
Just look at the volume in the 30-year. They want to go back up to that high, I think. But the 5-year is getting pummeled. And look at my chart.
Uzi Knesset says there's a nice cluster of naked VPOCs from June 2nd just above in ZB. 77, 27, 29, and 78, 01 and 03.
See, the 5-year went flat, and this one peaked. It's been a long time since I've seen one go up and one go down. And we're not quite getting that, but this is about the closest that you'd ever get to it. I think I've only seen them actually go opposite directions twice. But that is a significant spread that they put on there. And I don't know which way they were balancing it, only that they sold a ton in the 5-year. They're flattening it a ton over here. I wonder if there was stuff in the 2-year. Should have had that one up. I wonder if there was a bunch of selling in the 2-year too, because it looks like it is flattening hard. And that means that if the E-mini were to die again, well, let me go back through a little bit. If the first thing is if the E-mini reverts, then the 5-year could go and take out these lows, right? If the E-mini gets killed again, then we could see the 30-year easily take out 178. Because any time that I see a spread that big, they move. But it's a flattener, and for now it's down. So we should keep an eye on this. This might be giving us a clue to what's going to happen in the E-mini Open. And I say that flattening like that is not really a good thing. So I think right now I'd be favoring the E-mini recovers a little bit. And then they try and smack it down again. But it recovers, but the recovery is limited. There's a nice cluster in ZB 177, 27, 29, and then 178, 01, and 03. Ooh, okay.
Chopsticks 7 Life says, do you think we'll ever see another circuit breaker
Well,
during the pandemic?
I think it's totally
Or are Feds
possible.
too invested to make that happen again in the foreseeable future? Gary Rich says risk assets fall as Fed flags slow recovery by Bloomberg.
I think that my feeling at the time when we were seeing those was that they were unjustified. I totally saw reason for us to be moving down, but I thought that it should be a slow move down, and it ended up into complete and utter panic. And especially when Congress was talking about the stimulus and they were fighting and it was looking like maybe the stimulus wasn't going to happen. That was when I really felt like the market's behavior was incredibly irrational. And so I believe that what is happening is because you have all of these retail guys coming in, like they were doing this. You got to realize before they got their stimulus checks, they were still already doing this. They were all buying the puts on the SPY and things like that. And they're exacerbating the volatility. So if the floor was to fall out from underneath of us and we started going down, you just look at it. Well, let me show it to you from this perspective. Okay. I have to show it over here because I don't get VIX data from CQG. Okay. So these lines right here are expected moves based on the VIX. So do you see how effective it is at predicting what the limit of the move that day in the regular session can be, right? Like yesterday, it called the upside at 22.25 almost to the tick, right? So I have one target and two targets. When they're going below those targets, what that means is that the short theta guys, people that are trying to make money off of decay in the options, these guys are losing money. That's what that essentially means. And look at how far we moved. Okay. Now, when was the last time that we did that sort of a move? Right? Actually went. Oops. Actually went outside of the bands. Okay, there's some on the upside. Okay. Not until May 20th. Back when we were at the lows. Right? Here's one. Okay. So my read on that is, number one, this move overnight is way further than it should go. Number two is that if this turns into a real sell-off, like let's say that we get a 10-20% pullback or something like that, then the volatility that we saw back in March when we were pushing 5% moves is 100% possible. Just based off of that. You could see some crazy things. So I'm going to move my stop up.
Bot says zinc rollover gap down was tested 2 days after the rollover, but there has not been a close above that gap since it formed.
Well, the thing I'm finding here is that this was like the bottom of the range.
Gary Rich says it would be very hard to limit down at low VIX. Unless a war, oil wells catch fire, nuke accident, tsunami, or Biden wins presidency.
Oh yeah, the VIX would have to increase substantially from here, wouldn't it? But I mean, it's going to open higher, right? The VIX is going to open higher than it was yesterday. It has to, because of a overnight move like that.
RJ Wheel says lol Gary re Biden.
Biden wins the presidency. I find it curious the way that Donald Trump's approval numbers move. It seems to me like his approval numbers aren't really based off of what he's actually doing so much as it is just how the country overall is doing. Which I guess is something that we always knew, but I guess it was something that maybe I just didn't want to believe or something like that, you know. Maybe I thought that people were more involved than that. But I don't know. So like if we want to get into politics now. Yesterday Donald Trump tweeted that there's no way that he is going to change the names of military bases, because apparently some of the military bases were named after Confederate people, and so Black Lives Matters and so on and so forth. Want to get rid of it. Okay, now me personally, I don't care.
Don't.
You have to talk about it. It's important stuff. It matters. It matters to the market. This particular thing right here, it matters to the market, right? He's gonna go. All right, bye-bye.
Bot says catch you later.
It's not going to be a popular thing. He said there's no way we're changing the names of military bases. He was quite adamant about it. It was like it's sacred thing, and there's no way we're changing the names of our military bases. Now that's different, because when it was the statues thing, you remember he was kind of like, well, me personally, maybe I would get rid of it if that's what people wanted. But he didn't seem particularly attached to it, and he was more concerned about who was out there protesting and for and against it, and that some of them were really bad people that the media wasn't acknowledging were bad. He was more concerned about that, right? Now this one, he is really adamant that there's no way we're going to change it. This is different. Hold on. YouTube is being slow.
Sunday Driver says unrelated tip. Layered mushroom powder, collagen powder, and half makes for the best morning coffee.
Oh, there
really
you go.
Gets you
Okay.
going.
Interesting. Anyways, I'm kind of wondering what's going through his head because this is not going to be popular. It seems to me like that the Black Lives Matters movement is quite popular among people right now. I don't think that the moderate
Sunday driver says
really
I'm a Southerner.
realizes.
These Southern generals were the best generals in American history.
Oh, okay. I don't think that moderates realize how radical some of the Black Lives Matters movement is, because some of these people are pushing straight up communism. This stuff, like in Seattle, they have blocked off a portion of Seattle and they are creating their own autonomous zone, and there's all sorts of zany stuff going on out there. I'm kind of like, I don't even know if what's going on over there is like real, because the headlines that I see coming out just seem absolutely insane, but I do not see it on real media. Do not see it at all. I'm only seeing it on Reddit and on like subreddits, the Donald and the Seattle subreddits and things like that. The people that live in Seattle, like, they're concerned about that, but everybody else is pretending like it's not happening.
After 2 days lol.
Okay, so some of these people are radical, but it seems like that the general populace, the moderates, don't really realize or acknowledge this at the time, right? So for Donald Trump to come in and say we're not going to, it's like completely no way, is likely to be unpopular. It's likely to be unpopular, and Donald Trump usually doesn't take an adamant stance like that.
Sunday driver says Trump was never going to get BLM vote. He has to create some excitement in his dispirited base. It's time to roll back the cultural left.
I mean, there's moderates that he has to win over to win this, though, man. You can't do it with just a base. You have to win over enough of those moderates to move the needle. So I'm wondering, okay, normally it seems like he knows the numbers, or he has a feeling that a certain thing that is politically incorrect, he kind of knows, and he ends up being on the right side of it in the end. But this one, it doesn't seem like that. This one, it seems like there's one of two things. One of two ways I can see this is, one is that he just really believes that the name of military bases shouldn't be changed. Like, to him, because it's a military base and it's the name of it and there's history behind the military base, that's sacred and it shouldn't be changed. That's option number one. Option number two is he just doesn't give a fuck anymore.
Chopstick 7 Life says I've made a good bit of pocket change from buying calls before he tries to pump the market like he usually does. His election is going to entirely depend on how hard he pumps the market.
I don't know about that, man. Because he's pumped the markets, it's not affecting his approval numbers. What are affecting his approval numbers? Black Lives Matter and the pandemic. And even though it actually seems to me like the administration's response to the pandemic, given the circumstances, wasn't too bad, it does seem to me that they don't care about that. That it was the pandemic and it makes them look bad no matter what. And same with Black Lives Matter. Although it is, at first it was like it was okay. Now he's starting to do some things that are going to upset people. Like absolutely refusing to change the military bases. That's going to be one. Two was the thing with the guy that we were looking at yesterday, right? The guy that people claim that he was trying to scan the police so that they could listen on police communications. I don't know if that's really a thing. What I've read is that some of those scanners can be Bluetooth, and so if you get it close enough to them, the phone can pick up that they're Bluetooth and link with them. I don't know how true any of that is. It sounds like a conspiracy theory to me. Like, he retweeted on that, and the left had an absolute fit because that man, he got pushed over and he was bleeding out of his head. So that's going to be unpopular. It's kind of like probably the best comparison.
Chopstick 7 Life says one of his platforms are having a strong economy. Imagine the amount of press he's going to get if S&P reaches an all-time high in the following months.
Well, it helps. I just don't think that that's the only thing, Chopsticks. I mean, you're right to an extent, but it seems like there's these other things that seem to be more impactful at the moment. Anyways, it's kind of like when what was that guy that got up at the Democrat convention and he was an Islamic, and his son got killed, and Donald Trump attacked him because he attacked Donald Trump, and everybody just had a fit. And that was probably his lowest ratings during that election cycle. Like, that was the nadir of his campaign, was when he attacked that former the family of a deceased Marine. The thing with the protester, that old man that got pushed over, and Donald Trump tweeting that conspiracy theory feels like that. And you can see it in the approval ratings right now. It doesn't look very good. And so I'm kind of sitting here wondering, like, okay, does he understand the amount of impact that the Black Lives Matter movement is having on voters right now? Because that's all anybody is talking about on my Facebook feed. And people are mostly positive about it, mostly because they want to sit down and say, yeah, I supported equal rights. They don't really realize what some of these people are really advocating for, right? So is it that he just doesn't get it, or he just doesn't care, or does he think that he's going to win out in the end? Because that one, I'm not seeing that same thing that you get. It seems different to me. And that's where I kind of, going into the election, it's kind of like, it seems like it's a different thing. It feels like at the moment that he's not doing the things that you would do if you want to get elected, like he has in the past. He's moved over to either not caring or just doing what it is that he adamantly believes in, and
Kevin
screw
Wimmer
what
says,
the
did Trump
populace
just
thinks
once
about it.
said, I am sorry, or I made a mistake?
Well, he has said, I'm sorry, but it really didn't feel like a very contrite one. I don't think as a leader that you really want to say, I'm sorry, to be honest. I think he's right on that one, that you don't really want to show weakness.
Sunday Driver says the shine will come off BLM. Right now, you have a lot of stupid people virtue signaling.
I think you're right.
Uzi Knesset says apologizing doesn't mean anything anyway.
I mean, the thing is we've given, it's now been a week that we've continued to allow Black Lives Matter protests to go around the country, and they have been relatively peaceful now this week. I haven't seen like buildings being
Air Cages
burned
says
or
all
any
these
of that.
normie plebs are making bank buying stocks. Meanwhile, I'm sitting here watching BTC do nothing.
I'm
a maniac.
Sunday Driver says, has cancel culture ever accepted an apology?
Yeah. See, there's no point in apologizing. This is my thing on. I tell you, here's my opinion on renaming military bases. If it really bothers people, I don't think that people in the military really care. I don't particularly care. So if we want to rename some military bases and you have some good alternative names, I'm totally down with that. And if there are some statues that shouldn't be around, then we can totally get rid of some of those statues. But here's the thing. None of this incremental bullshit, all right? If we're going to do stuff with historical monuments, and the name of something is really a historical monument, right? If we're going to do something with historical monuments, you got to do it all at once. I want a list, every statue, every name, everything that you think is wrong is supporting white supremacy or whatever it is. I want a list of all of these things, and we'll get rid of all of them all at once, and then that's done. You're not allowed to complain about it ever again, because what you're going to do is they're always going to find something to complain about. They'll always find something to complain about. With the statue that they were toppling the other day was Columbus. Okay, that kind of gets into the gray zone. What is it going to be next? They're going to go after Thomas Jefferson, guys. You're going to say Thomas Jefferson owned slaves and he was racist, then we shouldn't have monuments to him. Okay? And I think that most Americans would disagree with that one. I think that most Americans would say that, like if there's a building somewhere and it's named after Lyndon B. Johnson. Lyndon B. Johnson was fucking racist, guys. He was probably one of the most racist presidents of the modern era. And he did terrible things to the African American community, despite the Great Society and all that stuff. Should we take his name off of all of the buildings? I don't think that many people would support that either because he was a president. So you got to make a list. Do it all now because I'm not going to do this slippery slope bullshit. Like, set now, what is appropriate, what is not. We make the decision, and then you're never allowed to complain about it ever again. End of story. I won't have to deal with it because I don't care if we rename the thing. I'm just tired of people whining about everything. Everything. You know what I mean? Oh, I already read.
Air Cages says all these normie plebs are making bank buying stocks. Meanwhile, I'm sitting here watching BTC do nothing. I'm a maniac.
Sunday Driver says, has cancel culture ever accepted an apology?
Uzi Knesset says cancel culture is modern-day communist struggle sessions. Apologies are meaningless. Only conformity is accepted. Chopsticks 7 Life says I am going to go get some breakfast. It's been good, my guy. Best of luck to you in your trades. At the end of the day, whether you stand on the left or right, Jay Powell will print for you.
Sunday Driver says that isn't how it works. The revolutionaries never follow the rules. They are already trying to remove Jefferson from a school in Virginia. Forget which one.
Yeah. I'm just so sick of it, man. Here's the thing, like, okay, I'm not going to say that police brutality is not like an important thing. Okay. I don't think that would be fair. Money printer goes brr.
Uzi Knesset says money printer go burr.
She says it. We can't say that it's not a thing. I mean, it is a thing. I don't think this is as serious of an issue as people are making it out to be. But look, if that's the issue that people care about right now, then we have to tackle it. Okay. But I say, let's tackle it so that we can get back to the things that are actually statistically a problem. Okay. Like the lack of fathers in the home. And it's not just an African American thing. It's a thing across society that a lot of fathers are not at home. They're divorced, broken homes, or whatever. And we have very, very clear evidence that is extremely detrimental to the development of the child. That is a problem that we could be solving in our society. That is probably the most impactful change thing that we could fix in American society is the absence of fathers in the home. And we never talk about that. If this is what people care about, then let's do it because so that we can get the stuff that I care about. Because I feel like most of these things are like easy to solve. Like, okay, police, don't do that. Okay, cool. Let's move on. Like, it should be easy to move on, but yet the media has blown it up into this huge divisive thing somehow. You know what it is any time that you inject race into a media story, it turns into a mess. That always happens. Even if there's, like in this case, there's no reason to believe that there was racial animus on the part of the police officer or that this had anything to do with race, but because he was black, it becomes race. There was this case, this one I think is like completely unbelievable. Like when I heard it, I was like, duh, that didn't happen. But in Boston, there was a woman, she was at a bar, and these guys, she was leaving the bar, and a guy grabbed her, and they basically gang raped her. Like, I think it was like 3 guys raped her there in the bar, and there was 2 other guys in the bar that watched. Okay, and this case went, well, the thing is that in this Boston town, it was primarily Portuguese immigrants in that town, and the guys were all Portuguese immigrants. So all of the Portuguese immigrants were saying that this was bias against Portuguese immigrants. The guys all claimed that it wasn't rape, that it was completely consensual, but they lost. They lost, and they were all accused of rape. They served sentences, but they weren't very long. And then the woman died 2 years later in a car accident. Okay, but one of the things that made that issue such a mess was that they were Portuguese immigrants. It was like they injected race in a place where it had no relevance to the fact. But they always do it with the media. It's so stupid.
Uzi Knesset says can't fix something one half the political divide wants to destroy. Man, fathers, sons. Disposable.
Sunday Driver says the revolutionary left will use any lever they need. Police brutality is what they are using successfully now. If they could use employment differentials, wealth differentials, etc., they would.
I'm going to add you
Sunday
guys on.
Driver says you should follow YouTubers Brett Weinstein and Heather Haying. They went through this at Evergreen. They are liberals that sound almost like alt-right now when they discuss the mob.
Uzi Knesset says it's Sunday Driver. I do slightly smiling face.
That move was odd. Oh, you know what? It was the open, wasn't it? I'm not paying attention. I should have taken profits before the open. That's okay. Actually, no, I wouldn't have taken profits off the open. I would have left that. You know what? I'm okay with what happened. I'm not okay with what happened because I was ranting and not paying attention. But it's all okay. I had enough of a plan there, and I was moving my stop up on. And I wanted to see the open. I wanted to see if they take a move up. But you can see there, like the change in cumulative delta of that move wasn't really that extreme. So I think we're in an okay spot. They are now hitting into 19 and a quarter in the 5-year. So if I see them get through that, then maybe we could move up more. Oh, and they did touch new stuff in the 10-year. And they're not really, even though the E-mini is probably even gonna push up to that new high. The 30-year is not backing off. Sorry, the 10-year is not backing off. Well, neither of them are really. I mean, if this goes the other way, if the 5-year is able to get up into this 20 area, I don't think that these guys that sold everything here are going to be very happy about it.
Uzi Knesset says it's weird watching the new contract on YM liquidity move around with no trades lol.
Yeah. Yeah, look at the E-mini, it's still pretty light. Kind of feel like we should have just kept our original trade in the 10-year. Like it would have come back to our entry, but it still went up. Or we could have just bought, when it was at 28, we could have bought. I don't know if it told us anything there. Yeah, I don't know if I really would have felt like taking that. It's around 710. I remember looking at it, but I don't remember feeling anything. That's why I decided to go into rant mode. It's okay, we made money.
Sunday Driver says I've always said that Tesla must crash and burn before this market is sufficiently properly valued.
The Tesla thing is crazy. You know what though? Like Tesla is of any stock, if you're gonna overpay for something, Tesla is the one that you can do it because how many stocks do you know that could completely change the world? Right? If the Tesla thing takes off and everybody moves over to electric vehicles, that is one of the most significant changes in our society since the invention of the internet and the television. It would be a big change. And there's not many other stocks like that. So it totally makes sense that people are buying into it. But you're right, based off of their earnings and everything else like that, it's not worth what they're paying for right now. It's not. I don't think it's worth $1,000. And Elon Musk doesn't either. I wonder if he's going to tweet about it. Well, there's a big order now at 31. I'm seeing... Okay. This should be a good spot if we wanted to buy right now, but I'm not entirely confident about it. Okay, we'll try it.
Sunday Driver says if that happens, and it likely will, other car makers will push in and take market position. Porsche can make a similarly priced electric car. I'd take a Porsche over a Tesla.
They're already trying for sure. I don't think that the offerings for other electrical cars are nearly as good as the Tesla, though. If I was going to buy an electric car today, I would buy a Tesla. Okay. So this is pretty
RJ Wheel says I thought
volatile.
bots left.
He came back. I'm done talking about it. Of course he comes back. He always comes
Gary
back.
Rich says Yikes Boeing down 9.4%,
we love him too much.
Carnival 13%, Delta 12%, just dragging the Dow.
He knows
Air
how
Cages
much
says
we love
I wanted
him.
to buy a Tesla, but I bought the stock instead.
There you
now
go.
I can buy 2 Teslas.
There you go. He knows how much we care about him, and so he just can't stay away for very long. That one's not going to work out, guys. Of course not. Well, it looks to me like the E-mini is just a little bit too psycho right now to make a read on it, and the liquidity seems like it's still being a little bit of a problem. See, because there's the move that we wanted.
Gary Rich says I'll buy a TSLA and jump the shark with it.
I mean, I kind of want one of those Cybertrucks. I'll be honest. Like, I want an electrical vehicle, and I think that having a truck would be useful. So, like, a Cybertruck makes sense to me. I think you should get a Cybertruck. The sim is being too stingy there. The internals don't look too bad. I do think that we're going to make a move up.
Sunday Driver says Tesla was a great trade. I missed it, and looking back on it I should have bought in. Just for the trade.
Gary Rich says I'll get a sex change and be a Thai boy before I ever buy a Tesla. No joking. Air Cages says Cybertrucks are bulletproof. Nuff said. What other car is bulletproof? I'll wait. Uzi Knesset says at Gary Rich big yikes bro.
Well, I just want an electric truck, but clearly there are other cool reasons to have it. Yeah, market's being so the way that it's trading like that, it's not usual for me to have that much difficulty. So that must mean that it's going to go down. I don't know if I can take it short here, but at this point we're just kind of playing around. Okay.
Air Cages says Seth, do you want your car to bulletproof or not?
Yeah. I mean, sure. Bulletproof car would be nice. I mean, with all the stuff that's going on, listen, if I took my Acura and there happened to be a protest on the street, I would be pretty concerned. But if I was in a Cybertruck, it's going to be okay, guys. They're going to go for that low. Come on. No. Oh. He's out there. There's an iceberg in the 10-year, though. Okay. See, the 10-year got through it. The 5 years still not making it.
Sunday Driver says if we enter Mad Max Zombie Apocalypse, then I want a bulletproof car. Problem is, Teslas run on electricity and the grid won't be available in the apocalypse. Got to consider all possibilities.
There's the low. It's still a little over. It still looks a little overdone at the moment. I don't know if it's really saw enough stops and so forth there. And the 10-year, the treasuries still aren't behaving like normal.
Nicholas Brown says solar panel Tesla, ha.
I need solar panels too. I don't think I have a really good setup on my roof for solar panels though. My parents have a huge solar array because they got this big hill behind their house. That 5 years is still getting pushed down. See, it's this thing right here is the thing that's making me think that this sell-off can't last. Of course not.
Sunday driver says get a diesel. Diesel engines can run on diesel fuel or vegetable oil. Fry up your French fries, then throw the grease into the tank and drive. Lol.
Gary Rich says time to invest in hamsters. 200 hamster power is the next new Green Deal for cars.
Now, where did hamsters come from? Is that a thing? Hamster power? Oh, I've seen some funny TikTok videos.
Nicholas Brown says let's invent solar panel paint. They have chalkboard paint. Let's do it.
89 would have been way better. Nope.
Air Cages says I've heard only high IQ people like Teslas.
I mean, I have no attachment to the brand or anything. I just think that electrical cars are cool, I guess. So I find it odd that I'm having a hard time getting fills here.
Air Cages says buy TSLA.
Damn it.
Gary Rich says wouldn't be hilarious, all the bad red headline news, and they whip it back and finish the day just a bit down.
Is there really that much
Sunday
red
driver
headline
says
news,
Tesla
though?
cars are cool. I'll give them that.
The only red headlines that I see are that the indexes are down. What other fundamental drivers are there?
Luis Alarid says to start the car one need to know calculus.
I do think that they're going to recover a lot of this, but I'm bottom fishing. This is probably not going to work. The technical setup looks okay. I'm looking for it to get to 94 and then continue through. Kind of trying to campaign my way into giving myself a bit more breathing room. Since there's so much spread.
Air Cages says calculus? Some of you guys sound like you still use flip phones. Welcome to 2020.
Okay.
Gary Rich says Bloomberg is red news, virus, claims, Fed caution, etc. Where is Pres Trump tweets to pump it back?
See, but that's kind of what I'm talking about, though. Is like the headline is going to be markets are down based on concerns of COVID-19 resurgence. Is that a real story? No.
Luis Alarid says love my 69 VW bug, just carry a wrench.
That's the index has moved down and we need to come up with an explanation for it. But none of those things changed today. Unemployment claims was largely in line with expectations. I don't know. It sure does seem like when you looked at the...
Gary Rich says let's all kneel and hold hands for a reversal.
For a reversal?
Sunday Driver says I remember what the world was like before the internet. In most ways, it was better. Internet has changed society and not for the better.
Well, maybe.
Air Cages says do you need a wrench to start your car, Luis?
I say let's not judge it until everybody's gotten used to it. It's gonna take a generation or two for people to see what's gonna happen is you're gonna be saying to your kids, you're gonna see some story and it's gonna be like, oh yes, here's this political movement and they're pushing X thing, and you will tell them, hey, like be kind, because you'll remember it happening. Don't say anything about this.
Luis Alarid says in an Italian study the COVID virus is now weaker form.
How we haven't passed on what we've learned about the internet and mass hysteria onto our children, and it might take a few generations, but once we're there, then we can see what society is like and we can make conclusions. Although it sure does seem like there are a lot of really negative repercussions from it, doesn't it?
Air Cages says old men yell at clouds.
Yeah. Damn treasuries getting pushed down. What was that last 3106.50? Yep.
Gary Rich says I'll be dead by the time Zoomers get common sense.
By the time.
Sunday Driver says TikTok.
I like
my
TikTok. Case. You know what? I think that people are unfairly maligning TikTok because of false impressions of what it is without actually using it. Because if you actually use it, you get to
Air
to
Cages
swipe.
Says get off my lawn TikTok.
There you go. You get to you watch what you like on that platform, and so it adjusts itself to what you like. And so I'll tell you what. So here's one thing about TikTok that I thought was really interesting. Was when I started getting on TikTok after this whole Black Lives Matters movement, it started showing me all these videos from Black conservatives pointing out fallacies and problems with what people are saying right now. And I'm like, holy crap. Either there are a lot more conservative African Americans out there, or they all have TikTok accounts. Because it was showing me like dozens of people like doing this stuff in a row. It was really quite odd. I think I want to take 50. So, yeah, I don't like the political stuff. I swipe through that. But the thing that's cool about TikTok is that you only get a minute. So what the real content producers on TikTok have done is they are learning to try and pack as much information as they can into that short 1 minute time space. And so it's cool because you can just absorb so much information about so many different things, and it will just like anything that you're even tangentially interested in, it'll show you and you learn about it. So it's actually quite cool in that way. Obviously, it sucks because it's run by China, and I would really like to see a good competitor to TikTok arise that is, not a communist mouthpiece, but preferably not one that is controlled by Silicon Valley, because a lot of the stuff that I'm seeing on TikTok, and the thing is, people complain about censorship on TikTok a lot. But I'm seeing a lot of stuff on TikTok, but that there's no way that they would let on Twitter just because it's conservative, you know? So, anyways, let me put you back on read. I like it. And the discoverability on it is cool. Like literally everybody can have their moment on TikTok. And that's really cool too. Because one of the things that sucks about Facebook is that it's like it limits your reach to just your friends, and it limits how much of even just your friends that you can reach. So in terms of a platform that you can that a regular person can reach a wide audience if they just have a good enough idea that people respond to, Facebook has essentially said, no, we don't want that, which sucks. I think it's awful. We need to get back to that. That's one of the problems with the internet, in my opinion, right now, was they got rid of the democracy part of it.
Soon.
Updog. Haven't heard of that. I have to look. Or is that some joke that I'm not getting? But yeah, like when I look at Reddit and Twitter and Facebook, are those really platforms that you can reach a wide audience with? Not really. YouTube is still
says, I
a
hear
good
that
one.
TikTok is a direct feed to China, and you are giving the Chinese Communist
government
you totally are. Details.
Why you totally are. You totally are. I don't give a fuck what the Chinese know about me. Who cares? I don't understand why that matters to me. The Chinese can know whatever they want. Obviously, I don't like them being able to control a large section of the populace, but I don't care if they know anything about me. But that's why I said it would be good for a U.S.-controlled competitor to take over. And don't let Tencent get involved with them. Ugh. Let me see. As loudly as possible that I would like more news and reporting from the autonomous zone. Let's see how it is working out. Maybe we'll learn something, says Scott Adams.
RZH says you thinking too much.
What is TikTok? It's a phone application that shows you videos that are less than 1 minute. No, I don't think that Updog is a thing. I think that that's a joke. I don't think that that's actually an application. Let's look. Let's go to the Google App Store and we'll look up Updog. See, he's trying to trick me into doing something, and I'm not going to do it. It was a valiant attempt, my friend. Let's see. What did they call it now? Play Store, that's right. Updog.
Air Cages says, what's up, dog?
It's not a thing. There's
RZH says, do you have account there?
There's no app called Updog. There is no Updog. Well, I'm glad that I missed some of that downturn. Kind of looking like they want to move up again. I think that I would need to wait for it to pull back again if I was going to take it. At least this spot
Luis
right here,
Alarid says, I haven't called up yours.
Minution scrambles. The halt stock route says we'll pump another $1 trillion into economy this month from zerohedge.com. What the heck? Did he say that? With stocks tumbling, it was only a matter of time before Trump trotters out the plunge protectors. And sure enough, just minutes after crash reopened, Steve Mnuchin dialed into CNBC where he said that we can't shut down the economy again amid growing fears of a second virus wave. And just to get the Robinhood traders extra pumped, the Treasury Secretary said another $1 trillion will be pumped into the economy. Over the next month, another $1 trillion will be pumped in the economy. We can't shut down the economy again. Quite optimistic in medical progress that has been made on COVID-19. Mnuchin says further aid to states will be subject to discussion with Congress. Unfortunately for the stock market president, unlike previous Mnuchin appearances, this time the market was largely oblivious to his message and was trading near the worst levels of the session, just around 3,100. Yeah, I didn't see anything about that.
Rich.
But he is out there. He's talking it up. They are trading up. that even one day down and they're concerned like this is very curious. Just the way the turn has occurred. Because like I said, obviously the sentiment is negative, but nothing changed. What do we know about coronavirus cases today that we didn't know yesterday? It sounds to me like that they just want to sell it and they're making up excuses for why. And you know what? When we look at the last week, it kind of looks like that bigger players have been distributing the whole week. So it doesn't surprise me that we're turning down. Is Ekman considering re-entering the trade of the COVID era? Says the market ear. Sorry, it was a hedge, not a trade. Do not want to offend Ekman, who is aspiring to be upgraded to a more Buffett-esque character and leave the dirty, unsophisticated hedge swamp once and for all. The sophisticated part is, however, a little ways off, especially after the occasionally snack on nuts infamous podcast interview on the Knowledge Project. Anyhow, it was the hedge of the year that Ekman put on.
Where have you been, air cages?
And maybe it is back in the zone now.
Mustard-based barbecue sauce. Morris's is the best. Piggy Park. MMMMMMM.
There's this restaurant locally that has the best barbecue sauce. Anyhow, it was the hedge of the year Eggman put on, and maybe it is back in the zone now, just in time for a second wave as the tight spread makes the CDX.IG index, example of the 10 widest names, an attractive low-cost hedge against a significant macro widening. The market ear.
RZH says, where have you been, air cages?
What's Bitcoin doing today? It's still down. Wow. It's down. Like everything else. That's funny. I mean, Bitcoin continues to fail as a safe haven, is what I say. If there's any day that it would be a good day for Bitcoin to be up, it should be today, and it's not. They sold. It's too high. 10K is too high. I would love to be wrong, but you know, when I look at all this,
I've been busy shorting the stock market.
I haven't done too bad today.
Sunday Driver says, I have a Zoom meeting I must attend that is filled with people I dislike.
50 on that one.
Fun. Catch you later.
Later, Sunday Driver. I wish I had taken 50 on that one. I'm starting to think that if I get 50, that I should just lock that in. Delta Company plans include severance, travel, and healthcare benefits. Company plans include severance, travel, and to test all workers for COVID-19 active virus antibodies. Edge Clear tweeting about that you should roll over. Well, we do have actual liquidity now in the micro. It's 8 o'clock. I think we should do what we did yesterday and wait for the 8:15 move. Wait for the counter trend time period. I'm getting better at remembering that and incorporating it because that really is a significant driver. Okay, so here's 02. This could be a bounce right here, but they're coming into it awfully hard. I think that they're probably going to go through it. 102.16 is a little too sharp to probably take, even if we thought it's going to go through. Yeah. You come to a halfway point like that quickly. It's pretty hard to just go through it. Leanne Bennett got a message from the president, apparently, on Twitter. Oh, if the president could only follow me on Twitter, I would appreciate it, Mr. President, because I feel like I could give you some useful advice. Probably I can't. That probably is indicative of how clueless I am. But that I think I tell him things that he doesn't know. But you know what? With the way the market is acting, I missed something at the beginning because I should have started this with. But you know what? Market might do some crazy things today, and if you're wondering why, just keep this in mind. Trader's gonna trade. That's what's going on. It's pretty volatile and irrational at the moment. But it's way too high too, so Scott Adams tweeting his Periscope says, "Let's get me canceled today. I'm gonna have to watch that one." What is he gonna say this time? He's finally ready to piss everybody off, apparently. PayPal company announces $530 million commitment to support black businesses. That's cool. That's a lot of money. I'm getting my chapped lips again. Okay, now it's going through. Now I can feel vibrations from the digging that they're doing next door again. I was thinking maybe they were building a pool, but now I'm thinking that hole is a little bit too elaborate for a pool. I think they're actually going to build a house there, which I'm surprised. I thought they were just going to keep it empty.
Luis Alarid says get your traders going to trade coffee mugs before they sell out. Hurry, hurry, hurry.
Look in the video description below for a link. They're like, what, $15? I've had people on Discord have shown me their pictures of them. It just makes me so happy. Like, I'm telling you, like when you look at it on the screen, you're looking at it on the screen and you're like, well, there's no way that it actually looks that good in real life. He's making it look, no, dude. Like, you're going to look at it and you're going to be so happy that you have this mug. It's just every time that you see it, you're going to think about, oh yeah, I trade and traders are going to trade. And we've had fun times on that YouTube channel. It's good stuff. They do a good job of printing them. I was very happy with it. I should get a shirt now. Let's see how good the shirt is. Top General apologizes for appearing with President Trump in combat uniform after a forceful removal.
Luis Alarid says Love Mine Coffee helps trade better. Seth's secret.
There you go. Well, they're in downtrend now. Think that they're going to hold it this time? I don't want to play this one. Like after the bounce, I should have tried playing the second break at 3102. Now that it's gone, the trade's over. NASCAR driver Ray Cicerelli says he's leaving over the Confederate flag ban. Okay. I mean, the Confederate flag thing is definitely a thing in NASCAR. But I don't understand why people want to have a Confederate flag so badly. Don't get it. Don't get it at all. Oh, I forgot. I missed that Donald Trump had tweeted here. Sleepy Joe Biden refuses to leave his basement sanctuary and then tells his radical left bosses that they are heading in the wrong direction. Tell them to get out of Seattle now. Liberal Governor Jay Inslee is looking the fool. Law and order. He's really hitting this because they must be watching the Donald and seeing all this crazy stuff going on and being like, what the hell is going on? I don't know why traditional media is not reporting on it. Him talking about it, though, is just going to make it worse, isn't it? I think we need to do something about our circles because we're getting too many circles. Gosh dang it. Why if I move it in. What if I move it really far out and then really far back in? What the hell? Okay. Whatever. That's so weird. Okay, so here's E-mini turning back up again. They are swinging, man. I'm kind of thinking on one of these, it's like you kind of get your move, and then just be satisfied with it. Well, we could get another move at 8:15. Let's watch, and we might take one. Let's see here. Market year is tweeting there was a significant reversal in oil. No. We need to roll it. Let's see here. There it is. What are my currencies? All of my safe haven currencies are up. The 6J is continuing through. How recent is that last little move? Just that last little dive down. But the treasuries still seem to be held back by the 5-year. JPY was very early this time, refused buying any of the last squeeze move in the S&P, and the JPY still refuses showing any risk on currently new levels since it all started at 106.7. I hate how they are always doing it the other way around, and I'm looking at Japanese yen compared to dollars, and they're looking at dollars compared to Japanese yen. Anyways, it's backwards from my chart. So I don't know what price levels they're talking about. And I gotta film me at 30. No way. Way too late. Like that pulling, that's pulling. That's luring. Okay, so it showed a significant tick there. Those that deny their history are doomed to repeat it, says Donald Trump. He's doubling down, guys. He's doubling down. Mm. I think that they might become a little range bound here for a moment. So many comments already on that Trump tweet. Already over 1,000 comments. It's just over crazy. Can you imagine, like, if I get like 5 comments on a video, it's like, hey, they really like this video. Donald Trump, even his most inconsequential tweet, will get thousands of comments. Looking positive there. I'm going to try and make it to that 3,100 again. Okay. Oh my. According to a new poll, undecided voters outnumber the supporters of either candidate in Utah's attorney general race. Oh, attorney, never mind. Nobody cares about the attorney general race. You know what? It's 8:13. I think now would be a great time to take a break. Before that, 8:15. Oh, look, I got filled. That's cool. Forgot about that. The nation's largest employer is state and local governments. They employ about 20 million people, many of whom are essential workers. CNN's Vanessa Yurkevich reports on how many of these workers could be out of a job next month because government budgets are in shambles. CNN Politics. Well, here we are at the counter trend time period now. They are turning down. I don't know why I'm talking with the southern accent. This next, if they really are going to move down, this next move down could be a doozy. Okay, now over here in treasuries, we still got this 19 problem, right? Like, I might need to be looking for more like 31 because they're going to tick up. Well, actually, I might be able to get this. But then the thing is that if they get through 19 in the 5-year, they're going to go way. I mean, they're going to go up to here, right? Like, put that one in and just kind of make sure that I have some good spots. Air Canada's CEO says Canada's virus travel rules are disproportionate. There's still iceberging in the 5-year. Are you kidding me? It would be one thing. It was just in the 5-year, if there was like other flow showing me clearly where they were spreading. There's got to be a spread of some sort. Okay. Five years not ticking up. 10 years not. 5-year did. E-minis kind of like retraced this whole last up move. I think there could still be plenty left in it. I don't know if I'd get filled at 31.5 at the moment. They're hitting into 19. They have a good bid. Well, now the E-minis. Not sure how this one's going to go. The moment I think it says, wait and see what happens. It ticked up on only 1649. Maybe that was a lure, though. There's a pretty big swing up in the E-mini that got taken out awfully quickly there. Now this is pulling. This is stacking. 31.5 does not look too strong. Hasn't flipped, but it could. The E-mini is giving us like a really nasty shooting star there. Looks like they're going to try and continue up, though, regardless. And they're able to stack 1,000, but they're not able to flip it yet. I would really like to see it tick up at 19 and a strong stack, and they'd just be like, we're doing this. That would be fun. Okay, there's the flip. But 2,000 have hit into 19. All right. The moment that I'm starting to see that it's like, okay, we could do this, it's telling me maybe we should just take the 3. So we're just going to take the 3. I don't really need to risk a whole lot here. And I think that trying to get the break of 19 in the 5-year is a pretty big risk. It sure would pay out a lot. It could pay out. Well, I don't know. Like, the thing is, you get that, but then there's 139 even. So I don't know if trying to hold it like really, really makes sense. Well, there, you mean he's turning down again? I don't know. It's doing one of those things where it's like, if you get filled, it's going to go through you. And if you don't get filled, you're going to lose it. We've definitely found, like, the decision point. The E-mini going to break down? No. They were looking. They were thinking about it. They got this thing going on here. This kind of weird head and shoulders pyramid thing. I want to. Some of them want to, at least. Okay, so we got filled. That's good. That puts me over 100 today. Yeah. Good stuff. What about just the E-mini trades? It's $50. Cool. Hua Chunying, retweeted by Li Zhanshao, who is a Chinese government spokesperson. For some U.S. politicians, if someone doesn't follow the U.S. to attack China, he or she must have been coerced by China. That's narrow-minded. The world is diverse and everyone should have the right to make independent decisions and choices. The United States stands with the United Kingdom against the Chinese Communist Party's coercive buying tactics. We are ready to help our British friends build critical infrastructure. No, I'm pretty sure that if you're not attacking China, that there's something up, because why wouldn't you? Hey, they're gonna do it. I'm okay with, like, getting out before the big decision, and then they go and they go. It's fine. Okay, they're ticking up at 19. They're holding it better. There's only 100 though. They're not offering a ton. They're being helped by the S&P dropping a little there. They're still willing to stack, but it's encouraging. On that one, you see, we could have just waited, and then, hey, if we were really concerned, I could still hit into 31.5 and be fine, right? Especially since, look at that, 41.99. They are doing the level break. Now that one is a 50-50s too, so I don't know if they're going to go in through it, but the setup, it seems like it would be reasonable. Oh, he's pulling a little bit. He's pulling a little bit. Yeah, they've got a good stack at 19. The E-mini is taking a hit. Oil is taking a hit. Look at that one in oil. Don't take back down. No. 5-year, stop. Stop. You see this? This is why nobody likes you. No, I like you, 5-year. It's just some people they think that you're a little indecisive, that's all. We've got a sweet talker if she was gonna move up. Euro dollar futures, the entire shakeout move regained, quote unquote. Protesters tore down a statue of Jefferson Davis in Richmond, Virginia last night. Oh yeah, well nobody likes him. Thomas Jefferson though, they're coming for him. My boy Thomas. Okay, well, so far the counter trend time period has been down. Will they make a new low? They're awfully close. They're being slow, but I think they can make it. See somebody there trying to stop it a little bit. Flip in the 10-year. Who is it, the US or China, that has coerced Europe on 5G? Is it the US or China that has repeatedly imposed economic sanctions for political purpose? Or is it Washington or Beijing that is promoting coercive bullying tactics? You can only fool the idiots. I think that we just don't want your spying stuff in our 5G networks. Who? So the Chinese seem upset today. That seems like a much better explanation for where markets are going right now. Okay, they're hitting into 139 again. Oh, look at that. Look at that. The 5-year didn't tick up, but the 10-year did. So we could have held that longer. That's okay. 30. What we should be doing is just be long the 30, because man, when you look at the 30, like, look at this. Now we're at 07. Oh no, wait, that's where we were before. No, we're above 178. Remember when I was like, yeah, they could totally make 178. Yeah, easily. Look at him stacking at 05. So that is indicative of strength, but it's also an odd place to be trying to show strength, because once you've broken a high, there should be plenty of reason for people to want to, rush into the trade. Yeah, look at that. They ticked down and there's quite a bit offering on it now. See, that's kind of one of those places where it's showing strength in a place where it doesn't really need it. That should concern you. That maybe they're trying to coerce more buyers into the next price and that they don't actually have as much strength as they seem. This quote from President Trump. When you look at how well the black community's been doing under this administration, nobody's done anything like we've done. Normally, you would say nobody's done as much for the black community as we have done. But instead, you said nobody's done what we have done, anything like we've done, which is just kind of funny. Yes, you're right. Nobody's done anything even close. Nassim Talib says never use single point estimates for pandemics, and he has a YouTube video. Nassim Taleb has a YouTube channel? I'm totally watching this later. Subscribe. We'll watch what he says. We'll watch what else does he have on his channel? Oh, he has a few videos. Ellipticality. Tail risk of contagious diseases. He has only had it for a few weeks. Hidden moments of a probability distribution. Oh, we're going to watch all of this. We'll see. I want to know this man better. I'm excited. Let's see here. How are we doing? We still have requests here? Yeah, no, you guys are good. I'm hoping y'all just would made like a ton of money off of that move there. Counter trend time period. Now it's kind of flipping a little early.
Luis Alarid says nice rise on TLT and FXY bonds and yen stocks USD JPY dropping.
Yep. That Japanese yen keeps moving, keeps showing some strength. I really hate with Forex pairs because we're always talking about it from different directions. Like I talk about it as you want to buy the yen. So the yen is showing strength, but everybody else seems to be talking about it as you want to buy dollars with yens, which is kind of backwards in my mind, but whatever. Whatever. Okay, E-Mini's turning back up there pretty strongly. Yen. Oh, wait, is it going to read it? It's going to read it.
Gary Rich says yen get to 106 even in reverses. Risk back on at 106.
Can you tell me what that would be in terms of yens, though? Do I have to go 1 divided by 0.00? And that's what I should do. One.
Gary Rich says sorry USD, yen.
0.0093760. It's 106.65. Oh, I see. So you're saying now that we're above 106, it's like get going? Or are you saying if we get back below 106, then that's when maybe the E-mini is going to reverse? Yeah, they seem to heed that little, just that little down move there in the E-mini. And look, the treasuries are all concerned. That's not a place that I'm confident in shorting, though. in the E-mini. In fact, if I had really strong reason to believe that we should buy up, and at the moment I don't think that I do, especially the way the treasuries are pushing there, man. So do you notice this time they're going up into new highs, but it's not nothing too crazy, right? This is likely to bounce up. There's 9.5, and then beyond that, then there might be some stops. All this PX action and still almost no bearish tweets from all of the quote-unquote real bears, says the market here. Some people on the right are really butthurt about NASCAR. So NASCAR will no longer require its teams to stand during the national anthem. They think that will destroy
Gary Rich
NASCAR.
says the 10 years goes to 139.69 or 140 even and reverses its high resistance up there.
Even 140? Hey, you know what? If 140 was hit, you think I should go and tell them to try and do my interest rate now? Because I figure, I do it now, and then 3 weeks from now, I get in the rate, and I should be, they could be close to the highs then at that point, right? Well, the
Gary
Treasury's
Rich
not
says you mean
continuing there
refi.
still. Yeah, I'm refinancing. Should I refinance? Should I set it in now, or do you think I should wait another month? I'm thinking now would be a good time because they've reverted back into the range where it's pretty good chance that we're going to go to the other side of the range, like you were saying, like 140. But then there's going to be really heavy resistance up there, and not sure that there's going to be any reason for them to continue to go higher. Like really, we'd have to be starting to talk about negative interest rates or something like that to start getting higher than that, right? So now when you consider that it takes a few weeks for it to go through, probably by the time it's refinancing, we'll be in a good spot. Is what I'm thinking. I guess one thing that hasn't been good is that mortgage demand has been relatively good lately. So I might not be able to get as good of a deal on my mortgage as I really want.
Luis Alarid says, what is more sensational, the arrest of a white man or black man?
Who got arrested? Obviously, it will be the arrest of...
Gary Rich says if you can get 3.5 for 30 years it good. The 30 years rate has a hard time get to 2.75.
So you don't think I could get below 3? Oh, the 30-year rate itself has a hard time to get to 2. So you're saying if I can get 3.5, that you think that's as good as I can get. See, the issue that I have, because I understand where the rates are and what the chances are of getting a lower rate based off of, what's going on. I feel like I understand that really well, but I don't understand how that translates to the mortgage rates that I get. Because when I look at it, it's like the amount that the 10-year moved was like crazy, and the amount that the mortgages moved was not nearly as much. I was thinking that we would be getting like 3, but apparently not. But 3.5, that would be good. So we should tell her we should at least take the next steps. The thing is that if we get down to the day and I don't like the rates, I can always just say no. I can always just say no.
Luis Alarid says BLM a lot of hype. The BLM startup, it's a business IMHO.
I think that the thing that will be more sensational will always be
Gary
the
Rich
one that the media
yes.
can make more
Shop
money
around
off of.
for the best rate.
Yeah, I should have her shop around a little bit. I think that I found the guys that are going to give me the best deal. My wife has been leading most of that effort, and she talked to like 3 or 4 people. And I think that what these guys are offering is pretty good. They always get these people that say, "Oh yeah, we can get you a really good deal," and then they're like, they go through everything, and it's actually not as good of a deal. I think one of the issues is, even though we have a pretty good amount of equity in the house, the house itself is over a certain threshold at which it's difficult to get a better
Sell
rate.
supply by demand says, are you actually trading or just commenting?
Well, sell supply by demand. We wake up early and we make our money
says
early.
Sharpton pictured boarding his private jet. He done well.
I'm actually trading at Sim today. I don't want to mislead anybody. I don't really trade it live during the summer because summer action is usually not very good for me. So I'm kind of sitting on my heels and practicing for the fall, kind of waiting for some people to get washed out because I'm afraid that some sort of a reckoning is coming. But I did okay today. Some of this one right here should have been 50. Should have made 50 on that one. This one right here, the MFE that I got on that wasn't very good. This one was fine. Anyways, let me tell you something, guys. The earlier you get done, the better. Okay. The longer the session drags on, the guys that are left are the worst, they're not as good traders, and the action is more difficult. Okay. This is one of the advantages of trading the treasuries. You can come in, you get your move, and you're done before most of the equity traders even wake up. Well, most of them are awake at 9 o'clock Eastern time, I guess. But you get what I'm saying. Before they're even thinking about trading, you're already done and you've made your money. That's the way to do it, guys.
Luis Alarid says tired eyes after 2 hours.
Why did it not read that one about Al Sharpton? Well, let me tell you what, Lewis, I'm just really impressed that Al Sharpton was able to lose weight. He looks, when you compare him to what he looked like in the 70s, but I think that Al Sharpton, here's the thing with Mr. Sharpton, I think his heart's in the right spot. I really do. But the incentives that he has created for himself are perverse. He doesn't benefit if race relations in America are good. He doesn't benefit if the problem is solved because he hasn't aligned his incentives with, solving things. He's aligned his incentives with the media circus around it instead. And now he's probably too heavily invested to realize it. It's kind of sad, isn't it? But it's the same thing with the media. Like the media is too heavily invested in racial strife to really fix the issue, isn't it? On the other hand, I'm kind of skeptical that you could ever truly have perfect race relations. I think that there's just a little bit of human nature that there's always going to be some tribalness, based on race or sect or, there's always going to be something. There's always going to be something.
Luis Alarid says reported net worth is $500,000. I doubt that.
Okay, you're right.
Gary Rich says the 30 years mortgage getting to 3% or 2.75% is very hard. We are at historic low rates and 25 BP are not much on payment reduction.
3.5. See, what they were giving me before was 3.75, I think. Have to ask her. But I think now is the time to start moving it in motion. because I was waiting like there's going to be a pullback. The Treasury may or may not snap back. I mean, it was a risk, right? It was a big risk because there was a chance that, I don't know. I mean, the treasuries were going down into the FOMC, and that could have continued. But I kind of thought, well, let's just wait for the FOMC. Now that we've seen it, it's interesting that now that we've seen the FOMC and I'm looking at it, I'm actually like, okay, let's see what we can get. Well, they're kind of threatening it. The treasuries. Okay, so the 5 years now got a big order at 20. But it's looking like they're going to make it. Like that pressure that they've had all morning at 19 is gone. The 10-year at 0.66 now below where this latest quote-unquote confusion started.
Gary Rich says 3.75 is very good. They may give you 3.25, just ask and shop around. They want the business.
You think so? Okay, we'll try it. I appreciate it, Gary. I just don't understand how it converts to the consumer rate, you know? Because it didn't drop as fast. But anyways. It's funny that Bitcoin is still heading down. It's also funny that they did another little pump above 10K and then it's lower. I think somebody's clearly exiting. That's got to be like some guy decided to buy it, and then the other guy said, "Oh, great! Finally, I can take my profits above 10K." That's got to be what happened. Or wait, I don't. You can't see the chart, right? It spiked up. Whoop. Oh yay, profits. That's the way I would do it. I would sell into the strength. When it gets to 10K, I'd be selling. Just sell above 10K because they want to hold it. I need people coming in, and that's where I want my price target. That's a good exit. Reporters covering the shortened NBA seasons may be trapped at Disney World for 3.5 months, according to a memo obtained by Bob Sayeda. I feel bad, Mr. Sell Supply by Demand is like, are you actually trading or just commenting? And I'm like, well, I already made your money and you're late. And he didn't say anything. I think he was offended at how well we did today.
Luis Alarid says the last UFC event was lame.
Oh, was it? I don't watch UFC. They hold those at Disneyland?
Luis Alarid says no energy, no excitement.
Oh, there you go.
Gary Rich says the banks are getting spread compressed. Like 2 years or 5 years CDs paying out 30 years rates.
Yeah.
Yikes.
It is. I wonder. So let's
Luis
go and
Alarid
check.
says no audience.
Yeah. Oh, because it wasn't fun to watch without the audience. That's interesting. Okay. Trading View. What are our targets for today? Well, we are. Well, we could still go down to 78, or we could move up to 43. I actually think the 43 might be more likely, but that's not what the trend says, so I don't know. But that's not what we want to look at. Let's remove our fixed range estimate here, first of all, and let's look at some bank stocks. So let's look at my friends over at Goldman Sachs. And they are down today. So they had these are not good. Oh, that is not good, my friends. Let's do it on a daily basis. Yeah. These things. Oh. Guys. Okay. Gap. Gap. Those aren't good. Let me do it with the. There's a gap and there's a gap. We call this an island gap. And their tendency is to reverse. Oh, we ran out of requests there. Hold on. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything what you guys are saying. So that's bad. But where are they at? They're at 200. They never broke through the 220 resistance either. I need to go like way further back. There we go. Yeah. So there's kind of been this longer term resistance in Goldman Sachs around 220. You can see. Here was when it was great, and then they got destroyed, and then they had a hard time getting above 220. And then they finally did before. And I was like, well, I don't know if there's really anything to justify them getting above that. And then, of course, as soon as they did, goodish. So I think Goldman might come back down more. They're getting compressed. Then we could see them. Well, maybe they come back to the 160 level. Okay, what about the leader? Oops, 2 J's there. JP Morgan. Okay, and they're showing a similar pattern. They didn't get creamed as much the earlier. They only got hit when the pandemic came. Oh, wow. Some of their behavior was really erratic down there. What about Morgan Stanley? Yep. And then lastly, I like to do Zion. Zion's a great local bank. They have a couple of different ones, but I think that we just want this one. Huh. Not much of a difference there from Zion either. Yeah, it doesn't look too good for the banks. In fact, if I was really willing to try and play hard and fast with it, I'd be selling my Goldman right now. But I don't want to play those games. That'll just get me into trouble. 30 minutes. And add our VIX range back on. Ta-da! Coin. And the VIX is higher. Is it above 30? Yeah, it's above 30. Just barely. Bankrate.com, 30-year fixed 3.6 to 3.2. Oh, really? You're getting 3.6 today? Well, I have a call them today. See what they say. Because if they say 3.6 today, then in a couple of weeks, I think we could get 3.5. That would be great. She's sleeping right now, though. I want to be like, all right, babe, go call him. She's sleeping. We'll let her sleep. Oh, so I did not notice, but on that last downswing in the E-mini, they did make a newer lower low. So we are now looking at, where is it again? 78. Oh, that's close enough, actually. I think that they've hit their downside targets. Now, if they go to the second target, what's the second target? 30.48, 30.50. Gold is rising as the market falls. Yes. You know what, though? I don't know if gold is not as strong. Like, they're only just barely beating out yesterday's highs after the Fed meeting. The issue is that gold has just not been performing very well for, how do we say? As a safe haven. There's just not really good safe havens. The currencies have been the better safe haven. Let's look around. I want to do a little bit of reading. I've been trying to get more, fundamental information in. And I would show you a couple of the sites that I found. Oh, I didn't bookmark this other one. So there's this one called Macro Hive. It looks like, I think that they do have some free content. Hive podcast that apparently anybody can listen to watch. Indicators. But right now, for the next 3 days, you can access their premium content. So now they got everything. Demographics driving wealth accumulation. Ooh, see, we want to read that. No, they don't really have a whole lot more since yesterday, do they? That was FOMC preview. I don't have anything on the 11th. Yeah. They must post their stuff at like the end of the day or something. Because that's what these guys, abnormal returns. Yeah. You kind of get this stuff at the end of the day. And this guy just posts links from a bunch of different stuff. You're probably not smarter than Stanley Drunkenmiller. Why we love free stuff like stock trades too much. Stop underestimating TikTok. I agree. TikTok is the future, guys. I have been intentionally trying, like when I was doing the market recap, I was trying to do it from like a TikTok perspective. This guy shared his pit trading secret. Oh, what was it? Where? I want to see. Show me, Lewis. Oh, wait. Did you post a link and it removed the link? We can, you know what? Check it out. Now you can post it. The 3-minute chart was his secret. That's actually kind of funny. Wait, let's look at the 3-minute chart, okay? Oh gosh. Okay. Grubhub is likely to merge with Just Eat Takeaway, not Uber. Okay, there's a 1-minute chart, and we're going to change this. We're going to come in here to data series. The E-mini is going lower. Wow. 3-minute chart. Aha, see, this is much clearer, obviously. The 3-minute chart tells us much more. Wait, that's not looking like what I expect. I'm going to reload all the historical data and screw things up. No, that's weird. Have we really been that much sideways? I guess so, yeah. Well, I do see some value in it, I guess. I guess I shouldn't mock it too much. I'm just kind of sitting here watching it now. I should be participating in this. I mean, I said I could have sold it in some spots, didn't I? Where was it when I was like, I don't know about that one. I think it was when it was at 30.92, yeah. That chart looks like an awesome hill time ski down. There you go. Oh, some stops. That might stop it for a bit. Let's see. On a daily basis, how bad does this look, really? Oh, so first of all, we're not seeing any. So this is different. Normally, we would see like significant absorption on the way down, but when we look at today's chart, there's hardly any large absorption areas. In fact, the overall volume numbers that I'm reading here today look quite subdued. Yeah, when you look at this on a chart, I don't know, guys. So here we're back on our chart, okay? And make it big. Okay. So first of all, sold 4 MES up to 2250 using 160 margin. Good job. Okay, so first of all, here's the spread. Like it's increasing again. That's concerning. But then number 2 is you got this thing right here. So this pattern that it is doing here means that the move has a high probability of having trapped some traders and is therefore can have legs. Now that they're all stopped out, anybody that wants to get in is likely to try and short it. And I don't think that we really have well, so there's 3,000. Let's draw some lines, shall we? We're doing technical analysis, even though I say it's bullshit. Where's that line? So there's 3,000. And here is, we can call it maybe 2,800. Yeah. I think this spot right here is more clear. 2,700 area. We'll put it right there, 2,700. Okay, and then this one at 3,000, it's actually probably shouldn't be 3,000. It should be there. That's good. So that's got to be your target, right? 29.63. It's Thursday. You know what we need to look at? Guys? The only thing green is the VIX, right? Well, no, gold is green, right? Gold is green. Not as green as it should be. Okay. Trading gamma. What is that website that we do the gamma? This is like spot gamma or something like that. They don't show you. Somebody needs to show us. How much is it? $26 a month. Well, that's not as bad as some other things. Oh, you can have them show in Bookmap. That's cool. Largest positive gamma by strike plus open interest 3,200, 3,100, 3,000, 3,250. So at the moment, they're not really pricing a move below 3,000. You don't, not until you get to 2,900. So I think that there's still a possibility that today or tomorrow we revert and settle somewhere around at that 3,100. But like I said, this seems to have some indications of trapped traders. People flipping. Nobody's trying to catch this. That's I think a big concern. Ooh, okay. So also this second target today at 3050 is not crazy. I think that it actually looks quite reasonable and maybe even likely. Because there's a point of control just above 3060 from June 2nd. And then at that point, oh man. So let's say that we make it 3060 today. And then the next day we're down at 3020. And then we're on the month negative. And then next week we could just sell all week. Well, we did have a little bit of a bounce there. Okay, they're saying that the VIX target must have been 3075 because there's some big people down there. I do see it there. It's just not as extreme on mine. And look, the treasuries come back, huh? Huh? That was pretty significant turn down too. I think they must be saying, yeah, they caught it. What do you guys think? Donald J. Trump. The Federal Reserve is wrong so often. I see the numbers also and do much better than they do. We have a very good third quarter, a great fourth quarter, and one of our best years ever in 2021. We will soon have a vaccine and therapeutic / cure. That's my opinion. Watch. Donald Trump, market analyst. You know what, Mr. But here's the funny thing is that they said all of those things yesterday. They still sold. Here's your problem, Mr. Trump. I think that all of those things are correct, but that doesn't mean that we're not overbought. Maybe this will be a really short pullback. I see some concerning things in the tape. Futures Magazine, Risk and Reality. Right, Rams quite saying it. Val said he saw a recovery from Q2 of this year. You actually agree with him, bud. He thinks that the market is selling off because of the Federal Reserve. He doesn't know what's going on. He really doesn't know what's going on this one. It's always the Federal Reserve's fault. whole thing. Let's see here. Brannigan Barrett posted this play 2 days back. Short the British pound versus the dollar as soon as we get daily close below 12645. Time to be short as we re-enter the 3-month range. Don't be surprised to see another 100 pip drop tomorrow as positioning comes unstuck. Says Brannigan Barrett, Trader Brand. I miss that guy. We need to have him give a good video. Let's listen to his sexy voice. Fed sees zero rates through 2022. Euro dollar futures guys got it right. You're right, Gary. Like in retrospect, the whole move down in treasuries ahead of the Federal Reserve was kind of silly in retrospect, wasn't it? Which is funny because I saw it coming. I made some good trades on it. I don't understand. There's something weird is going on with me where it's like when I'm there in the moment, I'm like, okay, I understand the flows. I see what it's doing. I'm taking it and I'm doing well and it's going with me. But then after a few days later, you look back at what I was using as a basis for that and I was wrong. Isn't that kind of weird? Like I saw that the market was doing well and there was a possibility the Fed could do something and we were seeing some rates drop going into the meeting, and then the meeting came, nothing happened, and now it's going right back up. And we made money on it going back up. I don't know how I did that. If you trade SPY, use the SDS inverse. It's doing better than the VXX. What is the SDS? SDS. We'll do all. Pro shares trust ultra short S&P 500 post reverse split US. This is that what it is? That must be it. It's either that or SDS Group Bear had. In what country is that? I don't know what that is. There's a Swedish company too. Oh, he must be talking about this. Oh yes, it's quite good for the VIX. Quite like that. Oh hey, ooh hey. Okay. Yes. Oh wait. Go back. It's just SDS, huh? Okay. Okay, let's come in here to our VIX range estimate. And on our inputs, instead of doing VIX, we just do SDS. And I've adjusted it a little bit, but I don't think it's working as well. Not quite. Not quite as effective. I'm going to say no. I'm just going to remove it and add it back on. See that one? Perfect. 3181 exactly to the tick. Turns. Wait, didn't I say it was 75? I'm confused. I must have misread it somehow. So I was looking, I must have just had it down a little bit. Oh, and this is a little slow, so it's not showing us that bender down to 70 that's about to show up here on this chart. Okay, we're in a good spot. Yeah, just minimize that. If you're interested in fixed income, Eurodollar futures, Fed, repo, etc., I've been reading this guy's stuff for years. Okay, thank you for the link. I will add that one. Alhambra Investments, market research. Oh, and it's just a blog. Cool. We will bookmark this. See, I was looking for ones that were like, like the thing with Macro Hive is it's a subscription. It's like $40 a month though. So I'm kind of sitting here like, I don't know, $50 a month. Like it better be something that I really want to read every day, you know? I don't know. There's some good stuff on here, but I don't know if it's enough. I'm going to see what they post today. See how much content they post every day. Macro Voices is great. It's free. Wait, that's not what you were just showing me, right? Macro Voices. Welcome to Macro Voices, a weekly podcast. I don't know if I want to listen to talk radio for sophisticated investors. Hey, that's us, right? So sophisticated. But it's a podcast. Well, there may be some times when I could listen to that and fall asleep up to it or something. And it doesn't look like they post every day. Yeah, I'll bookmark it anyways. We'll look at it later. Macro Haven and Macro Bond. Macro Bond, that interests me. Macro Bond Financial. Macro Bond is the engine that powers economic and financial analysis. All you need in one unique platform. Macro Bond serves close to 500 different blah, 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 blah. He's a hedge fund guy, very smart, variety of people. Cool. I'm kind of looking for, so you can try this one is that you can try. What are their products? Why Macro Bond? Watch a demo video. Unparalleled data. Ooh, they've got a database. Most complete collection of macroeconomic data with more than 170 million time series from over 2,000 global sources. And I could make the cool charts that everybody else does. Oh, wait, how much is it? Yeah, well, I don't see a price. That is not, it's probably a lot. When they don't list the price, that means it's a lot. You can try it though. Oh, I have to say which company I'm from. Okay, they got blogs. Yeah, that's good stuff right there. Don't pay for it. Just do the blog. Okay. I mean, I'm okay with, I don't know. I think if I pay for something, I should really just save up for Rand Squawk, huh? Hey, Ace, how are you? Really should just save up for Rand Squawk. And what's the other one? Macro Haven? Macro Haven. I don't see a website for that. It's just a guy on Twitter. Or there's a hashtag. Did you mean Macro Space Haven? Not finding that one. Let's try a different search engine. Headeye is good. One can get a free weekly thing there on YouTube, and the site is good. Oh, Macro Mavens, maybe. Identifying global economic trends ahead of the curve. How to subscribe. What you get, a slimmed down version of our institutional product. Retail investors will receive one cherry-picked missive per month, as well as early access to the super terrific Happy Hour, a new joint podcast between Macro Mavens president Stephanie Pomboy and Grant Williams of things that make you go, Monthly subscription. Wow. $225. And this info, is it actionable? Do you get in based off of stuff they say? Well, that is the thinking. But this one is above our price. I'm not going to pay $225 for macro. If I was really doing like a hedge fund or something, or like portfolio management stuff, then maybe I would be willing to pay for that. But Real Vision. Become a member. Always the first thing that I look at. Oh, they're expensive too. Pro at $875. Whew. Why is Plus more than Essential? So if they pointed out something 30, 16, 25, would you go, no. So the way that we do it is we look at, like, the way that I've been doing it at least is I come in and I'll be like, okay, like today, what's going on? Okay, well, I don't think that anything has really changed, but there was like significant risk off movement after the Federal Reserve meeting, and then continuing through to tonight. They very much exceeded their EVIX targets. And coming in, there's some concern about another wave of coronavirus. I think there's a little bit of concern about trade with China. And so we're going to be biased short. And then what I'm doing from there is I'm using the technical analysis to kind of figure out the spots. And they should line up with what I say. Like, I don't think that I want research that gives you a level per se, so much as it is they point out. But I do want ones that will show you a chart and will show you something significant. For instance, the Nomura guy pointing out those significant price levels on the treasury yields. I want that kind of information. I want things that tell me, like, okay, if we're going to have a move down, where is it going to go? That's what I'm interested in. And so anything that gives me a better picture of what the larger economic picture is and where the money is moving to, so that I can predict when the money is going to move and everything, is I'm interested in. Check out the Real Vision 1 package on YouTube. Oh, okay. Real Vision Finance. What do they got here on videos? Oh, they got stuff. Will reality return with the reopening? Subscribe. Thanks, Gary. And what was the other one that you were pointing out? Real Vision Hedge Eye. I don't think they have a subscription to. How much is it? $225 a month. You know, it's interesting to me. YouTube is free, but it's delayed. The paid one is real time. Oh, okay. I'm down. Did you like Bloomberg? You know what we need to do, guys? We need this channel to have 10,000 subscribers, and we'll be making so much money off of the YouTube that we can buy a Bloomberg terminal. Oh, yes. Bloomberg terminal, and we can like set up a computer with like a trillion screens behind us and show a bunch of stuff that you can't see it, without a Bloomberg. Oh, that'd be so great. I don't see it being anything other than blah, blah, blah. Market does stuff, blah, blah. Nah. I mean, I don't know, Ace. Here's the thing. I was doing, I did a couple of different things. Like, your strategy works okay in certain situations. I still like to use it as a trigger in some instances. I was using the time frame confirmation sort of stuff, which actually works pretty good. I think there's considerable edge in when the time frames are all in when the time frames are all in alignment like they are right now, hour, daily, week, all down, that you can get a much, and once they were able to close below the weekly open, now you can see it's so much easier for them to sell. Like everything changes when the time frames are in confluence. Okay, there's definitely some edge in that, but I still had some struggles. And ever since I just sat down and I said, okay, I'm going to absorb as much macroeconomic information as I can, and specifically about where money is moving from and to. When I started doing that, I'm winning like every day. And I can't even, I mean, you can go back and you can watch the videos and I can explain why I'm going long or short at any given time and why I think it's going to go to a certain spot. But it's always based off of this seems to be where the money is going right now. So that's why we're looking for them. When I'm bored and I want to read some stuff, that's what I go for. But I'm not going to pay for this. I think it's funny. I thought, okay, well, a squawk is expensive. Maybe we spend a little bit on a subscription for some macroeconomic data. But of course, the people that they're selling to are like hedge fund managers and stuff like that, right? So isn't Thomson Reuters just as good and much cheaper? No. It doesn't seem to be actionable as far as entry. Well, but it can be. That's the thing. So the way that I play it though, Ace, is like I'm so oh man. I mean, this could go so deep. Okay, I look at where the money is going, and based on which players I think are moving, I will time my trade based on that. So, for instance, today when we came in, well, like there's the yeah, sure. So today when we came in, I'm seeing, okay, there's some risk off sentiment going in from Asia. Maybe it has to do with the Federal Reserve, but I don't see any significant change. So for me, the trades at like the top of the hour that we often take didn't really make a whole lot of sense because it's going to be the RTH session that's actually going to make sense of it. So I use the macroeconomic picture to determine when I thought the move was going to happen. And, we waited. Actually, I think I took a couple of trades there on the open and had a little bit of trouble, right? So there was these two right here were around 7, let's see, just a little bit after the open. So I think maybe I should have waited even longer. But then once they kind of like picked a direction, it was really good. And honestly, we've just been blabbing. I could have been short from 3090 still if we wanted to. So that's kind of how I'm doing it. Other times I come in and I'm like, okay, it's based off of this piece of news or this piece of news, and I take the moves off of that. But I'm trying to go as early as possible. Like often I've been taking the trades just ahead of the open because I know which way I think the open is going to go. And that's happened. So that's kind of how I've been using it. You still have to use the technical analysis. Let me explain one more thing. We're going to make a video about this one. I'm going to make it like really pretty. So, but I'll give you guys, doesn't give me an entry price. No, yeah. If you're paying somebody that much, they should be giving you an entry price. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I think that the squawk is worth 200 a month or whatever it is. But the I can those reports that you're getting from those other websites that we were looking at, their audience are like hedge fund managers for sure. Yeah. Anyways, the theory is this, and I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but here is the market, and here is me, and you, and the robots, and the hedge fund manager, and the retail Robinhood traders, right? What did I say? Me, Ace, robots, hedge funds. We just call these F featherheads. Okay. And what we're doing is we're sending orders into the market. Now, the market's not actually one spot. It's a bunch of different spots, right? And we're sending orders into here, right? Whatever. Okay. And then the market generates data and sends it into us, right? Okay. Okay. So we use this data, we run it through our strategy, and we send our orders in, right? So this right here is technical analysis, right? This right here is order flow. Order flow. Okay. It's a fractal function, right? The output of this ends up being the input to this, which is the output to this, and it goes around in a circle. That's why you get this kind of behavior, right? Fractals. Okay. But it also, even though there are patterns, it still becomes unbelievably difficult to predict just based off of the technicals. So that's where we go in and we find that like you can maybe find a 5% off of this. Okay, but here's the thing. There's another component that we're not considering because there's other stuff that happens over here, right? Economic numbers. Okay, trade. Politics. Currencies. Right? Okay, this is fundamental data. Okay, so think of it like this: if I were to take my camera here and point it on the screen, all right, and you get this reflection thing, and if you actually like really zoom in on it, you can actually see some really bizarre stuff. Magnifier. Let's see if we can like really. How do I do it? Oh my gosh, it's so weird. Oh, I need to magnify it even more. Okay, but here's the thing: is that if like something changes from this frame to this frame, you can actually get really bizarre behavior if you get into it right. You could actually probably. Oh, can I zoom even more? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Wait, where is it? Where are we? No, I lost my. I don't even know what you guys are seeing right now. Oh, here we are. Here we are. Oh yeah. Oh man. Oh my gosh, this is like crazy. Okay. All right. Come on. Come on. Da, 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 da. Well, you know what? I'm gonna give up. But the thing is, when you really get in there, it's like what you actually see is like wild and like difficult to predict, right? But I could move and then I would see a change, right? So what actually changes the function? What is actually the driver of the function? Is it the feedback loop? No. It's the information that's going into the loop to begin with. I'm watching his stream. That's funny, dude. So I was messing with my head. Yeah, but it's this information that's coming in here. So my question is, how can you really understand what the market is doing without looking at this? So my opinion is that analysis based purely on this part right here is fundamentally flawed. That's my opinion. That's my theory. My theory is I want to look at everything. And you know what? The more that I've embraced that theory, the better I've been doing. I don't care what the market is doing. I just want my 2 points. Well, so if you do that, then the thing is, one, the amount that you can get is limited, but that's okay because you're only taking 2 points. But then the other thing is you can have like weird drawdowns. So the problem for me was like we got into these spots where like, I don't know, like I was wrong every time, even though I was taking the right spot. The long-term expectancy of it, let me put it a different way. From my backtesting, the long-term expectancy of this is not positive if you take it every time. You don't take it every time. You actually understand more about the fundamentals of what the market is doing than you want to admit. You are incorporating more fundamental data than you realize, and you're using that information to pick which ones you want to take and don't want to take. That's what I think. Let's see if he goes okay, or if he's like, nope, it's 100% technicals. That's probably true. I don't have the ability to explain it exactly. But you know why? It's because we've been lied to, Ace. We've been lied to. We've been told all you have to do is look at what the market is sending you like a black box and trade it like that and you can make money. And I don't believe it anymore. I don't believe it anymore. I think that if you combine them, I think that if you have a fundamental basis for what your trade is and you really understand the market and you use technical analysis together, that's when you can really have like real consistency, come out, good wins every day, minimal drawdowns, etc., etc. I want a hot Colombian wife for less than 2 points, a dream. Hey, you know, you might be able to do that, Gary. So I am seeing something that I am not able to elucidate, and it combined with that move, I have to think on that. So the question is like, so the thing that I would start to look at, or the basis of my theory is that it is all about data. So then the question is, how much data are you actually looking at? Are there pieces of data that you see that are not the market? Like, do you visit CNBC.com? That's data from outside of the market that you're pulling in. Do you look at Twitter? You know? So, and I would just go through all of the points. It's more than just a larger time frame. Something else is keeping me out. That's true too. Well, and you seem to pick times of day. So that's another thing is like, so like at the time of day, that's not market generated information, but we know we can find things that is not market generated information from looking at the market. But if the basis of it is something that's outside of the market, it's much more likely to be successful, I think. Like a certain time of day doing certain things, you know, like the counter trend time period. Not anything big like that, CNN or Twitter. I don't know. There's definitely bits. Now it doesn't matter. I sold my soul to the man and I use their indicators as funny. I don't know. I think that our theory still needs a lot of proving out. I stay away from CNBC. You know what? I feel like I learned a lot from CNBC. You just have to know how to filter stuff out. That's the problem. Because you're right. There's a lot of stupid shit on CNBC. Like anytime those analysts come in and they're making a prediction, you just have to be like, okay, you think it's going to happen like XYZ, but why does that have to happen? And that's another key thing. And I think one of the things that you were getting into, Ace, is that we should not be trying to go in and say, well, based off of PE ratios, the market is incredibly overvalued and I should go short because it's incredibly overvalued here. Wrong way of going about it, right? That one is like good if you're trading on a higher time frame and you say, okay, I want to buy stocks, but the PE ratios are not good, and so I'm not going to buy in. That's great. Okay, but don't go short off of something like that. What you want to pay attention to is the flow. Where is the money coming out of and going into? Today, it's coming out of stocks. A little bit of it is going into bonds, but a lot of it, from what I can see, is going into gold and currencies. That's the flow. Why is that happening? Those are the things that we want to determine so that we can predict when that flow is going to stop or reverse or whatever. If those guys were actually able to predict the market, why are they in makeup talking on TV? Nothing wrong with it. Well, because they need to get publicity for their hedge fund, of course. Hey, listen, if they asked me to be on CNBC, I would do it, wouldn't you? Come on, be fun, and they pay you. Paid to be on television? Anyways, that's all the time we got for today. Tomorrow should be fun. Remember, downside target 30.50. I think they're going to do it. Let's see. Stay profitable, friends.